ho, ho, ho! What's up, guys?
What? Dude, what's up?
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Andrew.
Merry what?
Happy holidays to you and yours.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
having a
yeah.
joyous holiday season. I know we're not quite there yet, but I mean, hey, it's December, and there ain't no party like a Christmas party because Christmas party is only one time a year, so you got to make the most of it, right?
Yeah, dude. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Most parties are kind of like one time a year, aren't they? Like birthday parties. That's kind of weird if you have more than one, unless like you did
Well,
what I used to do.
well, you would think that, but then there's stuff like Halloween where people just whatever weekend is closest
True.
to Halloween, they do Halloween like 3 days in a row, which is kind of
Halloween
excessive.
when I went out to
Halloween.
LA
There you go.
last year. Yeah. You know what I used to do though? I used to get two birthdays in a year. I would do the family birthday on my actual birthday, and then during the summer, since I had the pool and stuff, and I'm talking like middle school, like,
Mm.
invite people and the parents cook for them and shit, and it's highly monitored, quick 4 hours, but it's like the greatest 4 hours of your
Highly,
life.
highly monitored. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I would have my summer birthday party, and all my friends thought it was just to like get double presents, but they were dumb and they didn't realize that you guys didn't give me gifts on my birthday during the school year because I waited till the summer, and it was just to hang out by the pool and enjoy like a nice summer day. But so I
Yeah.
had double birthdays for a long time. It's pretty cool.
I mean, that's kind of cool. I remember when I was really little, my birthday is 5 days after my sister's birthday. So I don't know if they would just give me half of my presents one day and half the other day, or if I actually got more. I can't imagine I just got double. But I would have to get like at least one present on my sister's birthday, otherwise I would get upset.
Wow, that's petty, man.
I'm not proud of it, but thankfully I've outgrown it.
I thought I was the petty one here.
Well, that's for another podcast.
Yeah, speaking of another podcast, today we are talking about video games. So, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, androids, cyborgs, robots, aliens, please welcome one and all in one, to another episode of No NPCs, the third episode, the second official episode in our status of Andrew being the co host.
Sup?
We're talking about, Andrew, what are we talking about today? I kind of forgot.
We we are talking about our favorite Star Wars video games because
Ooh,
because
baby.
A, they're always making Star Wars games, and B,
Always.
Star Wars is hot right now because of the Mandalorian.
So, Andrew, for those from the Talkin' TV side of the coin here who don't know, I am Chris from Talkin' TV, known as the TV nerd on that show. Welcome, people. It's good to see you again. But this is not just an episode of Talking TV, nor is this an episode of my podcast with Andrew.
Mm-mm.
Andrew, talking with Andrew and Chris. This is a swap cast, a collabcast. I've heard a lot of weird names. A joint cast, although I feel like reggae bands might want to like exclusively say that
Yeah,
one,
true,
so
true.
maybe we
I don't
don't
want
take
to.
that.
Greg
Yeah,
can have that one.
yeah, Greg can have that one. We don't want to take that too much away from them, but so basically, if you guys know me from Talking TV, we talk about all things movies, TV, and pop culture news, all that type of stuff. We recently did an episode on the theaters and HBO Max pulling all their films from theaters. And if you guys know me from my show with Andrew, we do a lot of music interviews. We recently just interviewed a local legend of ours, super nice guy, Jace from Secret Dino Club. We've interviewed, people on RCA Records, Victory Records, Sony Records, which I guess is also just RCA. But like, hey, if you got to flex it. It's 2020. I mean, I honestly I feel like 2020 was kind of flex it in the sense where people got super humbled by being inside. That it's kind
Yeah.
of nice. Like the amount of flexing on the internet has really died down. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
remember how many times someone would say weird flex but okay to you in 2019?
Oh, I still do it. I love it.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it as much on the internet. Like the world's a
Oh
lot
yeah, no.
nicer.
Well,
But
yeah,
the
for sure.
point being is this is
Because
the
now,
talking.
mainly because now, if you flex, you get flamed for it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, hey, it is what it is. You're gonna pay the price if you're gonna, what do they say? Don't do the time if you can't do the crime, or switch that around. And you
Switch
got it.
that around. Yeah.
Listen, guys, I got this mug because I recently just graduated. Not graduated. This is how hyped up on coffee I am. I got this mug from my grandma. It's the "You're the Man" mug, and inside it, apparently, it was man-made.
for
And
those for those listening, it says "You're the man" on the mug, and it says "man-made" in the mug.
and it's a little bigger than your normal mug. Like it's got depth. It's
Does
bigger
it
than
not?
normal.
It doesn't say how many ounces on it.
No, I was looking for that. See, here's the thing, guys. I do start my morning off with a cup of coffee, but it's not like too much smaller than that mug. But that mug is, I'd say, you get like an extra half a cup. And so I've been filling that boy up to the top. And let me tell you, boy, oh boy, there's a lot of caffeine pumping in my system right now. I think I may have to, you know, not fill her quite so much up to the top. I'm all over the place, but that's okay because this is kind of a taste for those talking TV people of my show with Andrew and I. You know, love
Yeah,
Dom, but I'm usually the one cutting off on this show, not the other
yeah,
way around. So
exactly. If you think Dom, I mean, I was gonna say if you think Dom talks a lot, you should hear Chris on talk, but Dom still talks a lot.
yeah, he does. But Andrew, so like, why don't you real quick give the talking TV folk a quick segment line paragraph of what we do on our show because it's so all over the place, but we do it each week, so they should
That's
know
true.
about it.
Well, I would say that our tagline is pretty explanatory. It's a show about life, music, and everything in between. You know, mainly music, I guess, because we talk to a lot of musicians, and you know, Chris and I are musicians ourselves, so we like to talk about music and albums and artists and all that kind of stuff. Like how you guys talk about pop culture things with movies and TV, we do the same thing, but for music and musicians and all that.
Yeah, we'll be dropping an
But
episode on the new Miley Cyrus and AC/DC records coming soon. Probably the Miley Cyrus one first because the AC/DC one's getting a little older now. But I still want to do it just because, like, I don't want to always chase a trend. I want to
for sure,
do some personal stuff as well.
for
But
sure.
um,
Um, we also kind of just talk about whatever we want, though. You know, we talk about sports, we talk about video games, also occasionally talk about
yeah, we do like a
whatever
once
we
a month
want.
video game show. Hence what we're doing right now. And Andrew and I are also going to have a band going soon as well. I mean, we were in a band together, and unfortunately, things just sometimes don't work out. But it's okay because I really do feel that we had a lot of fun making that kind of music. But
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to be stuck making that kind of music. So I'm excited to see what we come up with. But it's all going to be starting soon. And so that's the best place to keep up to date with it all for you guys on the Talking TV side of the coin, and vice versa. Our Talking with Andrew and Chris folk. I'm sure you guys watch movies. I'm sure you guys watch TV. I'm sure you guys are into pop culture, just on the
Especially
more.
this past year.
Yeah. So point being, it's all in the description. Find it. Support the Talking TV network. It's what we're trying to build, and we appreciate you guys being here. Now, with that being said, let's get to the topic of today: favorite Star Wars video games. And Andrew, kind of
Mm.
like how we conduct our interviews when we have guests on, I kind of wanted to start this one off, and I want to ask you, take me back, take me way back, because my
There
history
it
with Star
is.
Wars games goes deep, and I'm sure yours does as well. So, like, let's walk through this chronologically together.
Chronologically.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds like an
hmm.
old rap in Tyler's car.
Which was the first one that
Shout
I
out the first
played?
episode or second episode. Sorry.
I can't remember a Star Wars game that I played before playing Pod Racer on N64.
Mm.
Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, I believe, is the official title.
I was gonna say it's
Um,
got to go back to the N64, right?
there were games, on the systems before that, but that was before my video game time.
Sure.
But me and my childhood friend, I never owned it on N64, but he did, and my dad would drive me to his house every morning before school because he lived like 2 minutes away from school, and I lived like 15 minutes away. So,
Childhood Tyler.
I guess yes, OG Tyler.
OG Tyler. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Um.
I played a couple
Yeah.
different Star Wars N64 games, but so yeah, I mean, you never owned an N64, in other words?
Oh, I did, but I didn't get. I think I maybe owned like 5 games for it. I had Super Smash, Kirby. I had my friends hand me down copy of Ocarina of Time, but I I literally couldn't get out of the forest. I don't know what it was. I was not good at games when I was younger. Like I was okay, but I wasn't good. So
Oh,
I
okay.
moved on from that. But I only had a handful of games, and I just played all of the games at Tyler's house because his mom would just get us all these games because she knew that we loved them.
So I got this article pulled up right now from N64 Today, which is like that's a really funny
Nice.
website. I wonder how much traction they get. But, do
probably
you
probably more than you'd think.
do you remember Star Wars Rogue Squadron? That was a great game. You got to fly around with the X-wing.
I know about it, but I never
Hmm.
played it.
that was a really fun one. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
the synopsis, inspired by the Shadow of the Empire's Battle of Hoth stage, Star Wars Rogue Squadron is an aerial combat game, and dude, mm, it was
Mm.
awesome. Like I hated Star Fox. I hated a lot of games where you pretty much strictly stayed in vehicles and driving. Like it's never really been my thing. Never played Forza. Never really liked the air battles, the space battles in Battlefront 2, which I guess
Mm-hmm.
is in Battlefront. Spoilers to later on in the episode. I'm sure we'll talk about the original Battlefronts, but I
Mm-hmm.
really liked this game. It was just so well done because I was more of like get on the ground, be the character.
Right.
It's hard to
Right.
really immerse yourself into who the character is if you're flying in a ship and you don't get to see them.
Right.
And so that's why I was like, oh, this is lame. Like I could pretend to be Luke, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I could pretend to be man, what's that guy's name? He's like always in the background of the movies and everyone freaks out about him if they read the legends, but he's only got like one or two lines. He's one of the old Rogues Gold Squadron fighters. So I was like I could pretend to be all these guys, but I'm really not right now. I'm not seeing them in
Right.
third person.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but that was a really great one.
There it
Here
is.
we go. There it is. Look at that little goggle shot.
Oh, dude. It was so good. I remember, but I do remember, like, as much as I always wanted to play as Anakin, I just knew he wasn't good, like, in the game. Maybe he was, but in my brain he wasn't. And me, so me and Tyler, we both had our characters, and there was one character that we weren't allowed to play as because he was way faster than every other character, and it just wasn't fair. But now, so they remade this game for the Switch, and I have it on Switch. And now that I'm a grown up who can understand all of the parts of the game, you have to upgrade. You can upgrade all of the racers, like all of their pods, and that's why like this first guy starts
I
so
never knew that.
fast, and like he is really fast. And I was playing as him to play all these races, and then I got to the second like tournament of races, and the first race I just got absolutely clowned on by every racer, and I'm like, how did this difficulty spike just jumped all the way up? Like, I
Wow.
don't know what's going on. But it really goes to show me that that game was so like they really put the time into that game even back then, even though I was way too young to realize all the other parts of it. But like, you could spend a lot of time playing that game.
I never knew that. That's awesome. I remember we played that for your birthday this
Mm-hmm.
year. We
Mm-hmm.
socially distanced and played that, and it was a good time. Do you remember this N64 game? This was kind of one of the more low key ones, but in my opinion, the best one because it took the mechanics and it was made by the same people who made the X-wing game. I forget what it was just called. I think it was the original Squadrons, but it was on the ground. Star Wars Episode One: Battle for Naboo. It was badass,
Wow.
dude. Yeah,
Dude,
you
so
would.
they made a few Star Wars Episode 1 games.
Well, was the times.
It was the times.
Star Wars was always great for having those games that went along with the movie, the
Mm-hmm.
ARG as they like to call it.
I don't think I ever played this one, but this one looks really cool.
It was so much fun. It's pretty much the Battlefront system
Right.
early on, and it's the same looking map and all that type of stuff. It was a blast. Let me
Right.
tell you that much. It was a really really good game, and there was a couple others too that I wasn't able to find images of that I played on the N64. But I also played a few on the Super Nintendo, by the way, as well. There was a couple really good OG Star Wars games. I gotta look them up as we speak here. But so quickly from the N64, where'd you go next?
Um, After that, I think the next Star Wars game that I remember playing fondly was so when I was a kid, my family would go to my godparents' house for Christmas, and I mean, I guess they had more money than us. I don't know. Their house was a lot bigger. But my god brother, Alex, he had this one GameCube game. I think it was called Jedi Knight. Maybe it was called Jedi Arena. I'm honestly not sure. All I know is that there was an. All I know is that it was for GameCube, and there was this arena mode where everybody could pick a Jedi, like some of them from the movies and some of them weren't in the movies, and you just pick them and you fight in this arena, and it was like kind of top down sort of looking, and you just like walk around and just fight each other, and you can like throw your lightsaber and shit, and it was really cool. And
Okay.
I remember like being excited to go to his house just to play that with him for as long as he would let me play it.
Yeah, and you have a list written out. I've just asked you to kind of go deeper than the list required. So for everyone who's like, "Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about," it's like I threw Andrew on the spot here. Okay, calm down, talking to you, the audience. I know you guys are real harsh sometimes.
Well, I'm
Give me
pretty
a
sure
break.
that game. I'm pretty sure that game is called Jedi Knight, but I never saw the menu and I never played any other mode besides that arena mode, and
Ooh,
I was like 5 or 6, so that's all I
Star
remember. But
Wars Jedi Knight.
it was awesome.
Well, I mean, it's tough because Jedi Academy, is that what you're talking about?
Maybe was that for the GameCube / PS2 era?
It was. Yep.
Then it was probably that one.
Jedi Knight 2 Outcast, so it seems like they made a few of them. Let me pull up the post there.
Oh man, I just remembered also I randomly rented Star Wars Bounty Hunter from Blockbuster one time for
I never
for
played that game.
GameCube.
What was the deal with
Oh,
that game?
dude, you were Jango Fett and you literally just went on bounty hunting missions. It was so cool. Like it was a story. It wasn't like it wasn't like open world or anything, but it was really cool. Like his base gun was the two pistols and you could just spam that and like obviously they would overheat, but it was awesome. And then you had the jetpack, you had the flamethrower. It was really cool.
So
It was
was
honestly
it just one of those like old
really
school
well made for like a GameCube game.
was it one of those old school story based games where you kind of just like, linearly went through like, the
Yeah,
campaign and
it was basically like in the sense of just how much freedom you have and stuff like that. It was basically like
Mhm.
The Star Wars Episode 3 game for PS2 and GameCube probably,
Okay,
but which was
gotcha.
another one that I was super into. Yeah, I think that this was it. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that
And
was
what
it.
was the premise of this before we get too far away from it?
If I remember correctly, you're just some like it's like a new kind of I don't know if it's really like a story. I think it's just kind of like happening, and it was more so just to like have a game where you're just learning to become a Jedi. I think it's pretty fun. And
Was it
then
happening in the way of like the 1960s where man, that jacket's happening? Or was it not no, so it wasn't like that. Explain that then. Explain that a little more.
I think it was like during the prequel era, and it was just
Mhm.
like you're just a random Jedi at the Jedi Academy, and like that was it, and you just learn how to be a Jedi.
Okay. How to be
And
a
then
Jedi is my
and
favorite.
it's your favorite what?
Never mind, the moment's passed. All right, well that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot. It
uh,
kind of sounds like a big
yeah.
tutorial in a game. Like here's how you throw the lightsaber. I know it's not,
Uh,
but
Maybe, but I just remember. I mean, now I'm getting hit with this other memory where there was another mode. Maybe I'm thinking. Oh my gosh, no. Okay, I just remembered what it was. It wasn't
you
this game
remember
at all.
this?
It wasn't even this game at all. It was Star Wars Clone Wars. That was what it was called. It was just like
Oh,
Clone Wars.
well, Star Wars Clone Wars, the game. We were gonna get there either way, so let's not jump the shark a little too much
I can't
because
believe that it just hit me because I just remembered like other modes where like you're both in a gunship like shooting stuff
yeah,
and like both in
dude.
little speeders and stuff. It was so cool.
So let me just get some things out in the open right now. Okay, I'm gonna get real
Okay.
honest with you guys. I
Okay.
enjoyed my time in the earlier vein of Star Wars games, and Star Wars was arguably one of the first pop culture things I ever really loved, if not like the first thing I got obsessed with. Wizard of Oz was on a lot. I guess I asked to watch it a lot, but like I don't know, it's a pretty easy movie to put on for a kid. So it's like that's not really like I would say it's not really an interest. And obviously Rugrats were dope, but like Star Wars was like the first thing where I was like, damn, like I need to know everything about this.
Right.
And I love those first sect of games. I really did. I played my fair share of pod racing against my sister, and spoiler alert, never lost.
Wow.
Yep. I was
She's
pretty
probably
good.
so embarrassed about that.
Probably. Yeah, I was pretty good, not gonna lie. And of course I played those cool N64 games I showed you. The Battlefront Naboo one was arguably the best, but they weren't the first gen of Star Wars games, and I guess really that second gen because like Super Nintendo had a bunch, but I can't remember them, and God knows the internet can't either. I really tried looking it up.
Was Shadows of the Empire N64 or Super Nintendo?
I think that was Super Nintendo, and that game was so badass. But again, it like wasn't as good as the third era. I would call it like how ska has three waves. I would say that around the same time, the third wave of ska was happening, like
How
early
often
2000s.
how often can you relate whatever you're talking to back to ska?
I mean, it's just kind of like my experiences. It's like how often do you relate to your experiences in life with other things? Pretty subconsciously, right?
Okay.
So, with that being said, we're gonna get real here. So there was two games, and I'm gonna put them up on the screen in order of how they affected me. The first was a game that I never beat. I always got stuck on level 4 because I was too little and I could not understand how to force pull, but that's okay because I loved the shit out of this game. You ever play this game, Andrew?
No, what?
This game was amazing, dude.
Yo, I would love to play this game.
This
Star
game
Wars
was
Obi-Wan?
the bee's knees. It was Ewan McGregor, episode 1, just separated from Qui-Gon, and you just out there all alone, and you run like this fictionalized campaign, and it was, oh man, it was so
Wow.
good, dude. And the thing about Star Wars games is the formula really hasn't changed that much, just the graphics have changed. Like, look at this still I'm about to pull up. It's pretty much just like a KOTR still. Like, it's the same looking type thing, but instead it's just older graphics. And it was awesome, man. Like,
Dude, it's
that's
just
him
Force
fighting Plo
Unleashed.
Koon, or a Plo Koon alien race for some reason, which I don't understand, but it was a fun game, and I never got that far to understand it. But you would basically have to go and I think the premise was save Anakin Skywalker. But you know what? Let me look up the premise real quick.
Well, I don't know
Because
if I even ever heard of this game.
really, I always felt like this game was either a sleeper or we had so many great Star Wars games come after it that it just got forgotten. But I feel like it had to have had its moment. But basically, here's the plot. So it's retelling the events of the Phantom Menace, beginning with Obi-Wan surviving an attempt on his life by a criminal outfit called the Black Heath on Coruscant. He reports this to the Jedi Council, who inform him that the Black Heath have been growing in strength, and the informant planted by the city guard has been exposed and taken to the gang's hideout. Mace Windu tasks Obi-Wan with rescuing him. The information reveals the arms dealers are selling large quantities of weapons to the Black Heath to destabilize Coruscant. So it's like it's canon, I guess, but you never see that story in the movies. It's like one of those side
Right.
quests that Obi-Wan does, and it was really good, really well done. So can't
That's
believe you didn't play this one, man.
I don't know. I mean, it's right up my alley.
It was only on
But
Xbox. I don't know if that changes anything. It was one of the
well, I
first or
never
Xbox originals too. Remember those?
I never owned an Xbox original.
Yeah. I didn't know if you played it at, childhood
No.
Tyler's house or whatever. But
No, he never owned an Xbox either. He
the
got an Xbox
second
3. We both got Xbox 360s, but
okay,
we
gotcha.
never had the original one. But
The
I
second game, and
yep.
arguably top 3 favorite Star Wars games of all time, which came out not too shortly after, but
I hope
I
it's the
know
one
this
I'm
was
thinking of.
cross-platform. Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Well, there it is. There it
This
is.
was the
Brought
one
it
you were
back.
talking about, right?
That's the one I was talking about. Yes.
With the arena mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bro, I loved that arena mode.
Mm.
I lost
This
my
game was
shit with
so
that arena
good.
mode. That top-down arena mode, seeing how many waves you could survive, dude, it was phenomenal. If they
Dude,
remade it, I would play it
I
today.
remember now I rented this game because I played it at my godbrother's house, and I remember playing the campaign, like being a kid and being like, this is so hard. I don't know how he plays this game, but like I was just bad at games. But it was so good. I would love to play it now.
I would love to play it now. It
But
it
there was one other. I'll let you finish, but I just want to let you know there's another Star Wars game for the
okay, Kanye.
Xbox that I was gonna that I'm gonna bring up in a second.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, dude, I'm trying to find images of this online. I really want to find images of the Geonosian arena because like the main storyline was really cool,
It was
but
fun,
I think
but it
people
wasn't
went
like
to
the
play this
arena, dude.
game. Yeah, I think that's where people went to play this game. Was
Hmm.
the Star Wars arena. I found like a weird angle that I don't understand why this is the only image on Google because this totally was not like the full like it was a top down, but I guess someone manipulated a camera, maybe in an emulator, and so they have this picture for us. But I mean, this arena mode was legendary. Like
This looks like Battlefront.
it might be. I don't know why. Then
That is the original battle. Well, it's Battlefront 2 because of the Super Battle Droid, I think. But
dang it, man! I can't find anything on this stupid little mini game. But it
just
was like the
search like
best part of the game.
Star Wars, the Clone Wars, like multiplayer mode.
The game, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the game, multiplayer mode. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on it, man.
They
That's
just
that's
use too many of the same words in all their games.
I know it's so hard. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the game, Geonosian Arena. It's like this is like the craziest, most SEO'd search in the history of SEO searches. But no, it really was absolutely phenomenal game. And if you guys never played it, I really think you should go back and play it. Because what also was fun about this game was the vehicles too. You could ride
Mm-hmm.
that sort of like Clone Wars ground speeder thing and really wreck some
Yes.
kids in it.
It was awesome. I
And
remember
I
like being in that and being like, "This is the whole game. This is what you need to do."
and I specifically remember Mission 2. You were in that thing the entirety of the time.
It was pretty sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other game that was for Xbox Original that I played that I also never beat because while I was playing it, my stepsister accidentally knocked my 360 to the ground and it put a permanent ring on the disc that rendered it useless, which was very sad. Was Star Wars Republic Commando. Did you play that game?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I was gonna say because if you didn't, then what were you doing? It was literally just Star Wars Halo. It was so good, and like you just, I have it on Steam, but as we all know, if anyone has Steam and has like an old, like a port of a game on Steam, like from those days, you know that it's riddled with bugs. They all have bugs. I don't know why they can't figure it out. But
I have it on Steam as well because they always put it on sale. Every
yeah, it's
Steam sale,
always
it's
ten
always on
bucks.
sale.
They're always like $10 or
Yeah,
$5.
so I picked it up.
Exactly. And it was
It,
so sick. You have all the different guys that are all good at something else, and I thought that was so cool that they all had a different personality and they were all good at something.
that was the first game where I saw the ability to switch between different characters and tactically place them at certain points to like use
Well,
their abilities.
you
I
didn't
don't think
switch between them. You got to tell them what to do, and like each one had their own thing that they were good at.
right. Yeah, I forgot. And the commercial was so scary too. I remember that commercial back in the day. They came down
Yeah,
like this dark corridor. Thing was
yeah.
badass, man.
It was intense. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
fun
that
game.
this was a good one. It was another one like this isn't the era of I was too young to beat it unless the story mode was super simplistic. So I really don't think I ever beat this game. I did beat the Clone Wars game because that was pretty easy. You just get in that ship and smash it up, you
Right.
know. But
But obviously
some good games from that era.
we'd be remiss if we were talking about Star Wars shooting games and we didn't talk about the original Star Wars Battlefront games.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like that's where we would logically have to go next.
I know.
Um, so
So
Andrew,
I wanted to wrap those up so that we could also talk about some non first person shooter Star Wars games as well.
I remember the first time I got the Star Wars Battlefront game. It was,
Mm.
I think it, I think it was late elementary school. It had been a year since we moved up to where we live now, and I remember like coming home from school and like it was waiting for me. Like my grandma's great. She went out and got it for me. I remember, oh man, this is such a funny thing. She used to call me up and be like, "I want to make sure it's the right one." Like, call me back, or like she'd call me like the night before. She'd like have me circle it or something, like in like a book or a flyer or something, and she'd go and get the right one. And sometimes they'd even call the school and like take me out of class, and she'd be like, "It's not really an emergency, but like I need to make sure this is the right I'm getting the right one for you." And I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, Xbox or whatever," like in
Your
front of a
your
school
grandma
secretary.
your grandma is she's a real one.
She's great, yeah. And so I remember coming home and just popping this thing in, and I'm pretty sure I played it for like 8 hours straight. Like
It
it
was
was that kind
so
of game.
good.
Yeah,
It was so good. Everything was perfect. Like the sounds, like the third person aspect, like the bullets hitting the target. It was just all so good.
and it's so simple,
It's so simple.
but it's
And
just a
I
phenomenally made game.
and I remember like when I started playing it, I was like, "Wait, you're just a normal soldier? Like that's it? You don't even have a name? Like that's it?" I was like, "That's awesome." I was like,
I
"That's so
loved that.
cool." I was like, "That's such a great way to do it." Like how have I never thought of this? Like
It
like
was
that's
so
great.
immersive. It just made you feel like you were just one of the masses.
It was
And the
so
fact
good.
that everyone was battling all around you on the map was just so intense, man.
Yeah. It was
Because you
so
could
good.
lose even if you were doing everything right, if you weren't like managing the resources right and your NPCs
Mhm.
were getting killed.
I remember seeing the bars at the top like of your reinforcements and the enemy reinforcements and like being really stressed out when theirs was bigger than mine. I was just what am I doing? What's wrong with my army?
Yeah. Oh man, dude.
So
And
good.
Battlefront 2, they even made it better, which was
I know
crazy.
Battlefront 2 I feel like is like one of my favorites like game sequels of all time.
It has to be. It's like a top tier game sequel.
Yeah,
It's
seriously, it just looked, dude. I remember like obviously the graphics aren't incredible for either of these games nowadays because whatever. But I remember when you go from Battlefront 1 to Battlefront 2 and like the red clone trooper guy that had the little like not cape but he had like a little battle skirt thing that flapped in the wind. I remember being like that looks so realistic. This game is nuts.
yeah,
And obviously, and that one was cool because in Battlefront 1, the story mode was just like, oh, you're just a soldier in this battle from the movie. And you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then in the second one, you were one unit that went from being clones, going through the whole prequel stuff, and then turning into stormtroopers and staying the same unit, but now stormtroopers, and you keep going. It was so cool.
yeah.
It was so well done. And then obviously everybody spent way too much time in the multiplayer mode just doing hero deathmatch because that was half of the game right there.
Yeah. It was still fun though. I like that. But I mean, I was always more of a fan of like I would turn the heroes off to be honest with you. I just
Well, yeah,
like the
that's
raw
fun.
carnage of the
I was
soldiers
saying, but
going
I'm
at it.
saying that the mode where you could only be the heroes was so fun.
It was. No, no, it was a good time, but I just felt like it was like kind of cheap and I was super nice at shooters back in the day. So I was like, man, I don't need no Jedi coming in and screwing my mojo up. I'm going to get like 80 kills anyways, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
but
you ever heard of foreshadowing?
if you're that good, dude, then you should just be able to kill the Jedi.
Yeah, whatever, man. If you ever heard of foreshadowing, it's a thing in
Foreshotting?
Halo that you can do with the battle rifle where if you get 4 consecutive headshots in a row in under like 2 seconds, you four-shot them to death. It's like a four-shot kill. Like I would do that. Like I'd get like 34 shots in like a 250 points match in like Halo Slayer, which
Whoa,
which isn't bad because
dude,
people are
we're not
jumping
talking
around and
about
stuff.
a Halo, bro.
But I was like that at Battlefront 2. I was like that.
I
Anyways,
listen. I believe you, but what I'm saying is that
you
that
don't
was
believe me.
fun. But what I'm saying is that whether that's true or not, there's a different kind of fun to be had with your friends when you jump in as Darth Maul and someone else is Darth Vader and you guys team up on a Yoda and a Han Solo and it's just so fun.
I never played on the same team as my friends.
Especially with okay,
I'd always be
well,
like, if you're here, you're versing me. Deal with it.
what if you have more than one person?
Take turns. Like, that, what do you think this?
What if
Like, we're
there's
we're
five?
going head to head.
What if there's four people? It's going to be one versus three. You're going to be against all three of them every time.
I'll win.
Yeah, but then the three of them are on the same team. So if you're taking turns? Then you'll end up on that team too. Why are
Look,
you
man,
doing this?
I don't think
Why
I know
don't
it.
you like cooperative games?
They're
I'm not
boring.
saying you can exist in both. You can enjoy both of them.
Here's something I really enjoyed moving forward. Did you ever play these games?
No,
Why not? Why you say that with such disdain or disgust rather?
I think they're boring.
Damn, that's wild.
I'm just
How
doing what
could you
you just
say
said
that?
about co-op games.
These games are phenomenal. I
I
mean,
never listen. I never played it. All right. I don't know why. I just didn't.
wow. This would arguably be like potentially my number two favorite of the Star Wars video game series. Battlefront obviously being number one. These games are just they revolutionized the genre. I mean, they really did, and they brought a character to the forefront in the shape of Darth Revan. Like that was huge. Like what video game has created such legends lore for its universe than this game? I mean, man, I love watching people go through and play these games. I love replaying them myself because you can make so many different choices in them for a game of that era. It's they were like the original Witcher or Fallout. Like really, really well done games. If you haven't played them, I guess we don't need to spend too much time on it because, to be honest with you, I don't want to spoil anything. The only thing that kind of sucks are the graphics in two and the
Wasn't
first
this
one.
made wasn't this made by the same people that made Mass Effect?
I don't know that I don't know, but I do know that what's unfortunate is that there was a lot going on and the games were so big and so the graphics kind of suffered a bit. But that's okay because the writing's phenomenal and they did report it to the iPhone and it looks a little better there, but it's like kind of hard to play on the iPhone. Maybe on the
Mm-hmm.
iPad, but like I'm not really trying to play games on my iPhone or iPad, you know?
This is wait, was this the one that was like Mass Effect where it was like a whole story with decisions, or is this the
Yeah.
massive online multiplayer one?
No, this is the RPG.
Story one, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, I know about these games
the
and like I've
Skyrim of
heard of them,
space. To be honest
and
with
I
you,
know that they're really good. I just never played them.
I would highly recommend you go back and play them. I think you'd love it. I know you're in a bit of a multiplayer game thing for the past few years, but if you ever want to just like get into some solo storytelling type games, and that isn't Miles Morales Spider-Man, which I'm sure you're gonna play soon.
Well, I
It's
need a PS5 for that,
oh, they only did that on the PS5.
as far as I know.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe
Well, I
not.
guess
I don't know. Either
while
way,
you wait, play the KOTORs, man. They're great, and they're on sale
the
on Steam all the
Cotours.
time. You can get both of them for $5. You can't beat that. And they're not buggy. They're actually some of the old Star Wars games that aren't buggy because they've just been
Hmm.
ported so many times. So
So many times.
because they're classics. So yeah, the Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I think 1 was a little stronger, but 2 obviously was a little more refined. So
Hmm.
jumping
I
forward, man.
I think that the one that I played from that era a lot was Star Wars Episode 3. If you ever played that one. That one
No,
was a really fun Star Wars adventure game that literally just went through Revenge of the Sith pretty much. And
I did play that when you fought General
yeah,
Grievous in it.
yeah, you pretty much only played as Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that game was
And there were
amazing.
yeah, that game was really fun.
That story was awesome.
I feel like if I went back and played it now, it might not be as good as I remember, but it was really
Sure,
fun. And I remember that you unlocked all these really cool combos that did really cool finishing moves, like stabbing them through the chest and shit like that.
but there
And
was
then there was
also the
a
multiplayer mode.
duel. There was yeah the duel mode where
Yeah,
you could fight each
exactly.
other as different guys because that was part of the story too. You would always like every time. I don't think there was ever a boss fight kind of like exactly, dude. I
Yeah,
don't
they
think
put
there
the
was
high ground
ever
on the cover.
I don't think there was ever a boss fight that was like Force Unleashed where you like run around the whole time. It was like every time you fought somebody with a lightsaber, it was like a fighting game.
Yep, it was. It was great.
It was so sick. This game, like for something that is, I feel like for most Star Wars games, they're always like, oh yeah, and you go across all the movies and you go across all the different stories, and this one was like, nah, you're just Anakin and Obi-Wan's story from Revenge of the Sith. Like you barely even touch on all the other stuff.
Yeah, they
And it
always
being
had
so good.
those kind of games, like the
And
one like movie
dude,
paired with the movie game.
right. I remember the one level where you go to the Jedi Temple or the Academy or whatever they called it with Yoda as Obi-Wan after Anakin had been there. And that level was so hard because you fought those clone assassin guys that like they would like do
Mm,
backflips and they had the arm blades. Those guys were so hard to fight. They were just
yeah,
so nimble and they would dodge everything and then they would just like hit you and like half your health would be gone and I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do against these guys?
the Star Wars games always had some really wild characters who I wished were in the movies. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this game was so fun. I remember those were my favorite like Star Wars enemies I had ever seen. They were the coolest clone troopers I've ever seen,
bro, that would have been badass, man.
for
Put him in
sure.
the movie. I want
Oh,
to see that. I'm a 14-year-old
another
boy.
well, yes, The Force Unleashed also two really fun Star Wars adventure
Great games.
games.
Played them actually a
Great games.
year and a half ago for the first time.
And I honestly have no idea if they're considered canon anymore, but I thought it was really cool that they got a real life actor to like be the main character in the game. And like
Yeah,
I thought it was such a cool idea, like the Secret Apprentice, Star Killer.
they replicated that as well for a more modern game that we can get to later.
Yeah, that was so cool. But if listen, if we're talking about Star Wars adventure games, then I have to talk about the ones that like I spent. I honestly, maybe Battlefront 2 might I might have played more than this one, but I feel like if I didn't, this is the Star Wars game I played the most,
Hmm.
and it's Lego Star Wars.
Ah, see, I never cared about
The
these
the
games.
Lego Star Wars game, the one with the prequel trilogy, that was the first Lego game I ever played, I think. Aside from no, that's not true. I played Lego Soccer and Lego Racers too when I was a kid, and Legoland. That was cool. But of the newer Lego games, Star Wars was the first one I played, and it was so much fun. I loved it so much. I unlocked every character. I needed all the characters. And then they came out with the original trilogy one, and that one was really cool. And you could make your own character in that one. And I made some guy called the Mailman, and he had a pistol, and it was really fun. And they were just so good. And then since then, all the other Lego adventure games like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, they're all so fun. But the Lego Star Wars games, I don't know what it was, because this was before they did like the dialogue from the movies. They just had them be like, "Huh? and it was so stupid
Mhm.
and so funny.
They
It was
probably
just
couldn't
so
get the
much fun.
rights.
It was so much fun.
That's
Yeah, maybe.
awesome.
You
Yeah,
never
you know,
played them?
Star Wars.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't have played those games. That's not really up your alley.
Nah, they were. I thought they were whack. I made fun of kids who played them. Not in like a super mean way, but I was like, dude, you know, like Battlefront 2's out, right? Like I would jest, poke jabs at people. But
Right,
you
right,
know, hey,
right.
look, to each his own. Like I actually have seen some gameplay of the Lord of the Rings Lego games, and it did look pretty fun. Shout
The
out Co
Lord of the
Carnage for
Rings,
opening my eyes.
yeah, the Lego Lord of the Rings game, if it wasn't Lego, might be my favorite Lord of the Rings game. If they had made
Yeah,
it legit like that.
so we've kind of been flirting with the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era. Is there anything you kind of feel we've missed in this chapter before we jump forward?
Um,
Or rather, on your list, is there anything we've missed? I know you actually wrote a list out. I was
well,
kind of
the
just
only I
spitballing it.
just looked. The only one on my list that we haven't touched on is a modern one, so I figured that that's where we're gonna
Okay,
end it. Is talk about how far they've come.
that's
But I
where we'll
can't
end it.
think of another
Let's
Star Wars
see how
game that I
far they've
played.
come. All right.
Uh,
Yeah, no, so we can jump forward, man, because I think I really said everything I needed to say. There was a couple other cool games like that I played, but none that really I don't know. There was a couple. There was like a lot of misses as well. So
right.
Star Wars has so many games, and not
I
all of them
know.
are good, but
I
the
know.
good ones are legendary.
Exactly. What I'm really
So yeah,
sad about
Andrew,
is that we'll never play that Star Wars. Was it 1313 or something? The really cool looking like stealthy Star Wars game that never got finished.
I don't know that one.
That one looked really cool. There are three Star Wars games I can think of off the top of my head that I know were canceled when all of LucasArts projects were canceled. That would have been really cool. One of them was, I'm pretty sure it was called Star Wars 1313, and you were like a smuggler who had to like be really stealthy and sneak around and murder stormtroopers and steal stuff, and it was really cool. Star Wars Battlefront 3, like from the original ones, they were making a third one that looked really cool, and then they scrapped it for whatever. I don't know what the deal was with that. And then there was a Darth Maul game where you were like you played as Darth
Oh,
Maul,
really?
which would have been it. Like all the demos and stuff that I've seen, they looked so cool, but
That sounds awesome. I hate when that stuff happens,
everything
man.
was canceled. And then we got the new Battlefront games, which
Which I wanted to talk about actually.
yes, let's talk about them.
So, what's your experience with these games?
So the first one, the first new Battlefront, I never owned myself. My buddy PJ, shout out PJ, he owned it, and I would go to his house and we would try to clear the survival missions on the hardest difficulty, which was just like you're just two soldiers, and then they just keep sending in waves of stormtroopers and walkers and stuff like that. And it was honestly really hard on the hard difficulty. I don't know if we ever beat all of them and got all the stars, but it was really fun. I remember thinking it was kind of a waste that there was no campaign. Like I like obviously it was fun and everybody played it and it was like a well-made game, but I was just like, but where's the campaign? Like even
Yeah,
if
this was
it's
kind of around
just
the time when campaigns were there half the time. What is
right,
this game? Like
exactly.
2016 when the shift
I think
I'd say the
so.
shift started a
15 or
little
16.
earlier,
Right.
but yeah,
And
I mean,
I was just like even just like and I mean they had like a couple I guess kind of like scenario missions sort
so
of,
November
but like not
16th,
really.
2015. So you're right.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly when I think the campaign started to become a bit antiquated, which is
Right.
unfortunate because the only problem
It
with this game was to me was the companies behind it, like DICE and EA. EA
mhm.
was one of the first real big sort of like pay to win, pay
Right.
games as a service type thing where it's like all these
Buy
like
loot boxes and shit.
microtransactions.
Yeah.
Like this game was plagued with the microtransactions. I remember it being really fun at first, and I played it actually probably for a good 6 months with my online buddies. This is right when I first met my crew. You know my crew. I don't want to name anyone because they like to remain anonymous, but I have a good group of friends that I don't know.
I can confirm that this crew does exist.
Actually, I guess I do know them in real life. I've met a few of them as we've traveled and whatnot, but at this point in time, I hadn't. We
Anyway,
hadn't really toured yet. But it's like I have this group of Xbox friends that I've become friends with in real life, and this is one of the first games we played together. But I remember us quickly being like, "Oh, so they want us to pay $30 for this expansion that only gives us two more maps and like one more gun? We'll buy the
right,
first one."
right,
And then they were like,
exactly.
"Again?" 3 months later. You just like they gave. This is the first time I felt that video games became games for a service, a subscription, like a Netflix thing, and you didn't get the whole thing at once, even though it felt
Right.
like the whole thing was done at once.
Right. And honestly, like when this game was coming out, I thought it was cool and I thought it looked really cool, but I was just like, why are they calling it Star Wars Battlefront? Like this isn't Star Wars Battlefront. We already have Star Wars Battlefront. Those games are amazing. Everybody loves them. It's made DICE, if you don't know, are the people who make Battlefield, all the Battlefield games, which are cool. If they had just called this game Star Wars Battlefield, I would have had no problems with it. I would have been like, that's freaking awesome. You just made a Battlefield game, but it's Star Wars. That's perfect. And that's exactly what they did. But then they called it Star Wars Battlefront, like trying to just be like, hey, you remember that fun, really fun game? Well, come play this really fun game. And it's like, get out of here, dude. Don't try to manipulate me into playing your game because you call it what it's not. Just call it what it is and it'd be amazing. And like that, it just always put a sour taste in my mouth at this game. But I thought, but like that aside, I thought it was well made and like the sounds are perfect. All the it all looks amazing. All of the different guns are there, like all the heroes. It's all really fun and it's all really cool. And I thought that the second one just expanded upon it, even though I also heard that the second one's multiplayer servers, at least at launch, were like they didn't work.
Yeah, so I actually can speak to that. But before we get away from this game, I agree with pretty much all of what you just said. Visually stunning, really smooth mechanics, intense, pretty intense, man. Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun. The way that they did the multiplayer, I think it was 30 versus 30. You were always
Right,
playing other people online, and there was like a few NPCs mixed in to give it that big feel. But really, it was like, do you have a team of better players? Because if you
right.
don't, then you're gonna lose. And that was a lot more
And I
fun in the
remember
open.
like these space battles were like the best Star Wars space battles I've ever played. Like the most intuitive controls and
Yeah,
like the
I
best looks, and it
tolerated
was
those.
really cool. Right,
Still didn't like them. And by the way, the thing is the core concept, what they copied from the original Battlefront was obviously better because games obviously have gotten so much better,
right,
visually, technologically, all that stuff. But they didn't have the Galactic Conquest mode, which was incredible. They didn't have the campaign mode, which was incredible from the first games,
right.
and they had like this BS sort of like hero arena, which was cool and all that, but like
Yeah,
they never balanced the characters out. I felt like the light side
right.
was always dominating, and how can Leia and Han Solo bring down Darth Vader that easily?
I
It makes
know.
zero sense to
I
me.
know. I remember playing the online version and like finally getting to pick a hero and I was like, "Oh, hell yeah, dude. I'm going to go like what's his face? Luke or something." And I'd run around as Luke and then all of a sudden like some dude playing Boba Fett would just be like, "Pow pow 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 pow." And I'm like, "What the
Yeah.
what?" Yeah.
And
But
so my Xbox friends and I, we were like, damn, like we're getting kind of bored of playing Sea of Thieves or not Fortnite. We don't play Fortnite. I hate
nah,
Fortnite.
nah.
Um, we played a lot of Warzone, Call of Duty, but then they again didn't listen to the community, same as Dice, I would say, and kind of
Yeah.
ruined that quickly. And so we were like, my friend calls me up, Myth. I can say that. That's okay. And he's like, Chris. I'm like, what's up, man? And he's like, Battlefront 2 on sale, $15. Got to get it. And I was like, why? He's like, we're all playing it tonight. And I was like, okay. When Myth tells you to buy a game, you know it's going to be money well spent. We're going to play it at least for like 4 months.
When he says we're all playing it tonight.
And we did, Myth, Carter, the whole gang. And it was great. For like 5 months, we played this game and we were frustrated with it, but we also just kept reminding ourselves that, dude, people paid $60 at launch for this. We got it for $15. That's awesome. But we would not have paid $60 for this because the servers to this day, we like to go offline because I play with some people, humble brag, who are pretty well known in a game called Elder Scrolls Online. And they have like not fans, but people who like will antagonize them when they see them online and just demand things of them and flood their inbox because they're valuable to people. And so they always go offline. So to not get spammed, but this game you can't get a party set up unless you're all online and it takes 5 minutes to register. And so it's the game Xbox invitations doesn't work. You have to go through the Battlefront servers and you have to send like 8 messages to get in a party. Like it takes a half hour to connect, then you play and you're good. But if someone does disconnect, if someone's Wi-Fi goes out, you're doing that whole process again for another half hour, and that
That's
happens a lot.
That's wild because I feel like maybe it was just on PS4, but I felt like it was mainly that once you were in the game, it would just be like a lot. You would see a lot of rubber banding and like people just like disappearing and moving around and like things just not working and then like the game just crashing and stuff like that. But
Did you play the second one?
yeah, I own it.
Okay, what do you think of it? I think
I
real
didn't.
quick, real quick. I just want to say because all I did was speak about the online service. My bad. I think it's obviously even better as far as smooth mechanics, graphics. But those are all
Hmm.
things that like obviously a film made by a filmmaker in 2014 isn't going to look as good as a filmmaker who made a film in 2022. It's like the technology keeps getting better. So like
Hmm.
stop making the givens be a reason to get it. Like we know that's going to
Right.
happen. You know,
Right.
it's like this game was microtransaction the game. If they hinted at it in Battlefront, the first one from the EA Dice era, this was just like, oh, you want this whatever? Well, here's five
Right.
dollars in tokens and buy it. You
Right.
know,
They did.
credits.
They released it like that, and then everyone was like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And then they undid a lot of it because everyone was so mad. I remember that. But
Yeah,
I
yeah, that was the big
remember.
debacle.
Yeah, I got this game because it was also on sale. I think I got it for like $10 at some point. I don't remember exactly, but
That hurts, dude. 10.
um, but I remember I wanted it because I saw it had a campaign, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And it's like canon, and like they made a big deal about it, and like they have real. They did another thing like the Force Unleashed, where they got an actual actress to like scan her face and be the character and all that stuff. And I thought the story was really cool. Um, Playing through the campaign, it's like stupid easy. Like the AI in it is they're like not smart, and I don't know if that was like to play up the joke that in Star Wars movies like all the stormtroopers have terrible aim and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Could
but I
be.
feel like the problem wasn't the AI's aim. I feel like their aim was pretty good. They hit me when they were shooting at me, but the problem was that like I could just very easily just like sneak around the entire level and shoot everyone in the head and no one would ever find me. Like it was like easy like that, which to be honest, I still had a lot of fun playing it because I like playing games that way, but I also recognize that like for a lot of other people this isn't what they wanted. But the story was cool and it's fun and I've played it a couple times. My only gripe with it is that they did this thing where you play through the whole story and I won't spoil like the actual story in case people want to play it and all that stuff because I thought it was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
But you get all the way to the end of the campaign and something happens and then they show you a cutscene that's like the story's not over and then it has a screen that's like it's coming like it's essentially going to be a DLC thing and like right there I'm like okay, this campaign wasn't really like that long, and then you're not even gonna give me all of it, and then you're gonna say I have to wait. And I was like, but whatever. If I get the rest of the campaign later, then that's cool. Then I waited and I waited, and then it finally came out, and it was one extra level, which was like 2 hours. And I'm like, the campaign was only like 6 hours,
Yeah.
or however long it is, and then you only gave me one level that basically was just like, here's what happened 10 years later or something. And I'm like, what? Like that's it? And like it was a good level. I'm not gonna say it wasn't a fun level, but I was like, that's all you're gonna give me? That's it after all of
I know.
this? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
And dude, the worst part about this game was again the unbalancing issues. I don't know if you've played the online multiplayer. I'm sure you have. Why would you
I,
not?
I,
That's the
I
only
did a
real
little
big
bit, but it
feature.
just but like I said, it just like wouldn't work. And I've never been a big
Yeah.
fan of the Battlefield online thing where it's like 100 people versus 100 people. Like I've never really been into that. I like the 6v6 kind of thing in Overwatch type shit.
So people
I like
camped the
small
heroes.
teams.
Yeah, I like small
Right.
teams too. I think those are fun. My favorite thing in Halo of all time was the 4v4 Team Slayers
Right.
and
Right.
SWATs, actually. Oh my God, that was nice. But, anyways, I would actually get like 45 kills out of 50
Listen,
in a
I
match.
listen. If anything, I know that you're very good at Halo, and if anything, I feel
Was
like
good. I'm old
SWAT.
now.
You're right. I feel like SWAT would have been your time to shine.
Yeah, this carpal tunnel, really, I could have been a contender.
The carpal tunnel
I
of
could I
love.
could I could have been a contender. That's for all you talking TV nerds out there. I see you. Ha 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 ha. Anyways, yeah, they never again, instead of fixing the unbalanced heroes and how people will literally like Myth when he plays, he'll when he gets a certain amount of points because you have points in the game and you can spend them on like you have the four base
Right.
troopers and then you can
Hmm.
spend them on like the extra classes. He'll
Yeah,
camp
I
to get
remember that.
Yoda, and he doesn't do that to be malicious. He does that because he knows if he doesn't camp it, then he's never going to be able to get it because there's so many
Right.
people who camp the heroes, and it's like if your whole team is camping heroes and there's 12 of you on a field versus their 23, you could have the 12 best players in the game. You're getting outnumbered 9 times out of 10. It's
Right.
so stupid. They should automatically
Exactly.
spawn you, and they never fixed any of these things that if you go on a quick Reddit search, like I did a quick Reddit search for this game before this, and there were so many good ideas on how to fix it,
Right.
but instead they all just fixed the microtransactions. People's cards weren't being read. So they fixed that.
Right.
But
That's the thing. And that's kind of like, I mean, this is, bigger than a Star Wars, problem, but
yeah. You
all
ever heard
these
the expression
companies, all what?
no dice?
Yeah.
Because I mean that in the literal sense when I'm speaking
Yes,
about this
I
new
know.
era of Star Wars games.
But what I'm saying is like big companies like EA and even Blizzard or Activision or all those ones, like they all
Oh,
own each other or whatever. Like they don't have to listen to us because we buy the game anyway.
they
Like they
should.
put out Battlefront 2, they should listen. I wish they would, but the fact of the matter is that they just go like they could just go, hey, we're making Star Wars Battlefront 3, and it would probably be pretty much the exact same game, same
It's gonna be.
multiplayer modes. There's going to be maybe a slightly longer campaign that's a little cooler, and then there's going to be like one extra mode or something, and then they're going to add maybe like three new characters or something to the hero pool or whatever, and everyone's going to be like, yo, what the hell, it's like the same game and it's still broken, but everyone's still going to buy it
Yeah.
because they're going to pay streamers to play it, and if streamers are playing it, people want to play it. And then if the game is still fun, then it's going to make even more money. So they don't have to fix any of these problems.
So I think you opened up a lot of episodes down the line. I would love to speak about streaming and how like that first month where paid streams go up and then the streamers quickly abandon the stream, or like really how a lot of bad video games get bought these days. And I also want to speak about like the downfall of Blizzard because that's so sad. A gaming company that went from having a con where they would actually listen to their community to just nonstop marketing and offering nothing to you all the time and like making broken games, like that's not Blizzard, man. I don't know. Blizzard went downhill. There's a lot of scandals that have been going on with them in regards to like political stuff too. We could talk about all that in an episode because it sucks and it's like the money machine. Video games are the largest export of our country and the largest entertainment industry in the world right now. So
Mm-hmm.
if there was a community that could spare a few bucks, an industry to spare a few bucks to fix a game and not really take a hit, it would be the video game industry. But we have all these broken games and it's frustrating.
Right.
And there's a reason why I'm not even going to play some of the more modern DICE Star Wars games. Like, did you even consider this game? I didn't even look up a trailer.
So I'm glad
Star
you
Wars
brought this up
Squadrons
because
for our audio listeners.
I forgot about it. Keith bought this game on my roommate bought this game on Black Friday
Oh,
because it was on
no.
sale. Because it was on
Oh, okay.
sale.
Okay. Okay.
So
Good, good, good.
I think he got it for like $30 or something because it was on sale. I don't know.
All right. Fair
Either
enough.
way, so I watched him play it, and it looks amazing. Obviously, looks incredible.
Right.
Sounds amazing. Um,
It's DICE. They're AAA. They have talented
right.
engineers.
And I only watched him play like two levels, and it was the very beginning of the game. And as far as I can understand, it's basically if I'm speaking just to you, Chris, it's your least favorite part of Star Wars Battlefront, but it's the whole game is just that. It's just the space battles.
Yeah.
So if you like flying around in Battlefront in all the spaceships and shooting stuff, then like you're gonna love this game because it's the exact same controls. Like I was talking to Keith about it, and that was it. It was just like I was like, this is how it is in Battlefront, and he was like, that's what I'm doing. I was like, cool. So they
And
basically
I
just
thought about
committed to
that.
the whole game, and it honestly like in the cockpit, it's pretty cool. It's pretty crazy. You have three levels of power for your shields, your weapons, and your uh, boosters. And depending on what you want to do, you have to divert power. Like if you're getting shot a lot, then like you got to divert power to shields. If you're just trying to fly really fast, you divert power to your thrusters. Like it's pretty cool in that sense.
Did
And
you
it
just
looks really cool.
accidentally curse?
I guess so. Yeah, I meant to say shoot, and I said shit.
That's funny. That's
But
that
yeah,
right
so
there.
like they definitely they base. So yeah, to put it basically, and from someone who hasn't actually played through most of the game, um, it looks like you just take the space battles from the new Battlefront games and add in a couple more like immersive features such as being inside the cockpit like you can see here if you're watching us on YouTube, um, and all of the switches and all of the radars and all of the little things.
My only
So
problem with this game is, um, you know, Jedi. I don't see any Jedi. I mean, that's boring, man. I
well,
don't.
listen, on the one hand, well, first of all, I have no idea if there are Jedi or not in this. Second of
They
all,
could be flying around. You never know. I mean,
somebody, yeah,
Darth
exactly.
Vader got in the mix. Darth Vader got in that TIE fighter.
That's what I'm saying. Anakin Skywalker, I'm glad you brought him up, one of the best pilots of all time, of the entire Star Wars history universe.
True.
So like,
Fact.
there's
So
that.
can I ask you one
But
quick question about
also,
this?
I feel like one of the one of the complaints that people are having with like, especially like the new trilogy of movies, is that they're like, "Yo, I know that this isn't Jedi, but like we're tired of the Skywalkers. You know, we want other stuff too." So like, I'm sure that as much as people love Jedi's and seeing Jedi's do cool things, which I don't really think I ever get tired of, people do want other stuff.
Yeah, and you
So
know,
I think that if you like the flying around in Battlefront, you're gonna like this game. Chris, I don't think you're really gonna have that much fun in this game, even though I think you can definitely see that it's a cool looking fun game.
it looks awesome, but you know
Yeah.
what really annoys me? At least in Battlefront, you have the third person view. And if you don't have the third person view, I don't think this is the way to do it. Like, can you zoom in further and get this stupid little console? Here, let me go on it so you can click. Can you get this stupid nonsense out of the way and just see all this?
I don't
Because I
think
would
so.
like to just see all that and not this nonsense. That's half the screen. How am I
No.
going to aim at something
Listen,
if that's my
it's
you said no?
far as I can tell, no. It's
I'm
a
not
first.
getting this game.
Listen, it's a first person game, and you're first person as this pilot, and that's what it is.
That is stupid. So I'm glad
And
I'm
on
not
and
getting
like
that.
the way that you have to do stuff, you have to see like the consoles and the screens because you have to like hit the switches and see what power is going where and see how you're oriented and all that stuff. So
Yeah, and here's the last game I wanted to speak about because I only played the first 4 levels, and then um, our old band had a bunch of stuff going on, and I was planning on going back to school and my job. I went full time, but now this winter, this is my project for the winter, is to really get into this game because I remember
right,
really liking it. It's canon,
right. I never played it.
and
I only saw some people on YouTube playing it and like reviewing it.
rumor has it that this guy might be in this the new Disney universe at some point in time because you know Disney's making that shift to all televised programming and especially with Star Wars. Imagine if he gets his own show. This would be awesome. I'm forgetting his name, but I'm a huge Shameless fan, so shame on me. I'm gonna look it up real quick. And I also really loved him in Gotham as the Joker. He's my second favorite Joker, believe it or not. And I know now the talking TV crowd's like, "There's Chris." Hot take,
Oh,
Chris, but
he was. Wait. Oh, I'm thinking of Penguin. I
Cameron
was like,
Monaghan.
that's
Cameron
not the
Monaghan.
Joker, but
Yeah, Cameron Monaghan. He's great. He played a young Joker in
in Gotham,
Gotham.
yeah.
Hmm.
But is he the Joker or is he like a guy who's going to become the Joker?
A guy who's going to become the Joker,
Okay,
sort of like the movie Joker,
gotcha. Oh, he's
but
Arthur or whatever.
different. Yeah, I
He's
don't I
not.
don't know too far. I only watched 2 out
Okay,
of the 4 seasons of Gotham, but I remember he was in it and he was the Joker guy and he was good. But this
cool.
game was really good. I really liked this game. Did you play it? Did you have any history with it? Because I plan on beating
No,
it. You know, I haven't beaten a game since I was like 11.
right. The only thing I know about it is I saw it and I remember that it basically just looked like a Star Wars version of Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. And the videos that I saw were pointing out a lot of like the bugs and glitches that are in this game and stuff like that, which they may have fixed since then, but that's all I know about it. And I know
Definitely
that
some of
it's
those.
probably a cool story.
Yeah, there's definitely some of that. But they fixed it since, obviously. And I think Andrew, I would like for you to play this and to come back and visit it um, on this show because I think it's really your kind of game. It reminded me of that Spider-Man game that you played. It's like that, just Star Wars style. You know, you can
Right, but
choose the
is this
order of the
game
planets
gonna
you want
make
to go
me
to. And stuff.
feel like Spider-Man?
I think it'll make you feel like a Jedi. The only unfortunate
Hmm.
thing is he's not a character from the show, so it's kind of like a new character, but he's canon. And that means a lot in the Disney era because a lot of the
Hmm.
comic video game canon characters like Thrawn, right, from Rebels, and obviously the Legends lore who they brought back, now he's in game, and I won't tell you where or how, but like they have plans for him in this Star Wars
He's in this
universe,
game?
in the new Disney Star Wars universe.
Oh,
Like
right, right,
they
right.
they don't just throw away the old sort of Legends material that was canon only because George Lucas was too lazy to be like, I didn't write that, it's not true. You know what I mean? Like they're using every good idea. And this was a really
Yeah.
good idea, this game. And I had to speak about it because I put it on the thumbnail because I loved it. My time spent with it was awesome. Like I don't like Uncharted style single player story, very linear games. But I really
Right.
like this. I just didn't have time to finish it. And
Hmm.
I'm definitely going to this winter. So
Okay.
yeah. Andrew, with that being said, anything else? Did we leave it all on the table here? Or? Is there anything else to bring up? There's a couple Star Wars board games that I would love to talk about at some point in time that we've played, but that's a different podcast for a different
True.
day.
Shout out Imp Ass.
Yeah, that's a very unflattering short form, but I don't want to correct it either because I think it's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny. No, I think that's pretty much it. Can you think of any sort of video game thing that was Star Wars but wasn't a Star Wars game, like a Star Wars character appearing in some other game kind of thing? Like I can't. I'm not sure if I can think of one right now, but I feel like
No,
that's
I
the
know
only
that they
thing that
had
we could think
plans
of.
for the Force Unleashed character in the old format of appearing Starkiller.
Oh, real quick, the only one I can think of was Soul Calibur 4. If you had it for PS3, you had Darth Vader, and if you played on 360, you had Yoda, and both of those had Starkiller in them, and that I remember was super cool.
That's
I
cool.
thought Starkiller was awesome. Yoda was broken as fuck because he was like a foot
Is
tall
Yoda?
and every high attack missed, so it was like what
Yeah,
the hell. But
totally.
Darth Vader was really cool, so that was
Fair
cool.
enough. Well, guys, this was
And
another
with
episode.
that, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Guys, we're going to make it super easy for you going forward. All of the Talking Podcast Network shows will premiere on Wednesday. Again, you can go to our YouTube channel, Monday and Fridays, both channels. Going forward, we'll be putting out extra content, whether it be on Talking with Andrew and Chris over at YouTube. We post sort of like a little snippet of the episode, highlight a funnier moment for those people who, and rightfully so, might not want to listen to the entirety of a podcast. Or if it's on Dominai's channel, Talking TV, we'll do sort of like, if there's like a David Fincher film coming out, for example, this week we did a review of not only the movie, but then Dom posted his top 10 list of David Fincher to sort of enrich what is happening that week, sort of offer some content that can kind of complement the bigger piece of each week being the long form conversation that comes out on Wednesdays. Again, that is Talking TV and Talking with Andrew and Chris, who both drop their podcasts on Wednesdays early in the morning and on YouTube. You guys can find it all over the interwebs. Both links will be in the description. This is Andrew and I's show's podcast page. Please go hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications. We'd really appreciate that. And same as with our other podcast, my podcast, which Andrew is honestly on quite a bit, Talkin' TV. Again, you can
I
go
watch a lot of
and
TV and movies.
Andrew watches a lot of TV and movies, and we're certainly going to cover some things that Dom and I don't cover on this page as well with that. So guys, please go and check it out. That is Talkin' TV on YouTube, as well as we're on a bunch of other places as well, where both podcasts are on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, to name a few. Breaker is another one. There's so many. So
To name
guys,
a few, but not all.
yeah, to name a few, but not all. So again, it's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, both shows on the Talkin' Podcast Network, being Talkin' TV and Talking with Andrew and Chris, will continue to fulfill their promise of content. So if you guys like movies, life, and everything in between, that's me and Andrew. Come find us over on Talking with Andrew and Chris. If you guys want to get super analytical and super deep in the history of Hollywood and dissect every aspect of a TV show week to week, or even talk about like big blockbusters, that's me and Dom's show, Talking TV. And the last thing I want to throw out there is Andrew and I are getting back in the music game. It's happening in 2021. We needed a little time off. We needed to figure out what to do next. I've been learning how to record, and pretty much everything we do going forward is going to be 100% creator owned and creator produced. So that's Andrew and I. Follow us on our Instagrams down below to keep up to date with the new music. It is coming. We appreciate your support. We're going to be firing on all cylinders creatively this year. So keep an eye out for it. And
Yeah, what
hopefully
he
that was
said.
simple. Hopefully that was simple. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you'll get something from both shows on the Talkin' Podcast Network. And we've been loving doing it. Andrew, anything else you want to leave the people with?
Oh, that was so upsetting. I was gonna turn this on.
Oh,
and it was gonna be a great moment,
no.
and apparently it's dead. But I'm holding a Darth Vader lightsaber that really just embarrassed the hell out of me. Hold on, ready? That's what I
Nice.
wanted to say.
I
Also,
like it.
watch more movies
May the force be with you.
and stay sweet.
I need a haircut. Bye. Yes.